Hey everybody, it's GauntletX, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which is back for some flashback drafts this week. We're in the couple weeks leading up to the launch of Aether Drift, where we get flashback formats. We have Outlaws of Thunder Junction this week, March the Machine next week, and in between all that, Chromatic Cube is going on as well. So lots of variety drafts coming to the channel. Very excited about that, and of course, the Aether Drift Early Access event starting next Wednesday. We'll start getting daily Aether Drift videos. So plenty of cool stuff on the horizon, but for now, let's hop back into this sweet cowboy set. It's a really interesting one with a lot of cool, unique mechanics. One of them we're going to delve very deep into off of Laughing Jasper Flint, and that is the Outlaws archetype. So Outlaws are Warm P. That is just the mnemonic that I've heard that is the easiest for me to remember. That I heard it off of Lords of Limited, and I believe they heard it from one of their viewers. It's warlocks, assassins, rogues, mercenaries, and pirates. So a multitude of different creature types all fit into this one archetype that is sort of a typal deck, kind of like elves or goblins before, except you have a bunch of creatures all fitting into the same deck. So with Laughing Jasper Flints, you get to exile the top X cards of your opponent's library, where X is the number of outlaws you control, and you get to cast your opponent's spell from exile against them, which is really, really absurd and a great reason to just immediately hop into the outlaw strategy. So easy start with Laughing Jasper Flint there. Incredibly powerful card. And for pick 2, we have another pretty strong outlaw we can take with the Blood Hustler. Whenever you commit a crime, which is whenever you target your opponent or you target any of their permanents, basically, if you touch any of their stuff, then you're committing a crime. You're going to make this bigger, and it has a built-in way to commit crimes for your other cards that care about that with the 4-mana activated ability. So that's a solid, reasonable pick, starting off with the Laughing Jasper. But this is also a format with good fixing, like these dual lands, these deserts at common. So I don't mind taking Honest Rutstein. Honest Rutstein, particularly powerful in the format, like most graveyard recursion, because of how powerful some of the rares are, particularly a lot of the rare creatures like Laughing Jasper. So being a Jund deck, if Laughing Jasper dies, we can cast like an Honest Rutstein in the late game. And because both of these cards are pretty cheap, they're both 3-drops, we could easily like cast a Rutstein, pick up a Laughing Jasper, recast a Laughing Jasper. Super, super strong stuff if we get the fixing to be able to support both these cards in the same deck. For pick 3, now we have Tyrant Scorn and Intimidation Campaign, two really good blue uncommons here towards blue-black. So Grixis, blue-black-red, or maybe Sultai, green-black-blue. There's not really a particularly good like 5-color deck in the format. You can try to go for it, but I generally wouldn't. So these would be if we only play one of these two cards, not all of them. There's also Frontier Seeker towards white, which again, starting with 2 gold cards is a little awkward because that again puts us in a 3-color deck. I'm going to go for Intimidation Campaign. It is a very important card to its respective archetype, the kind of blue-black control deck. It sort of builds that deck all by itself because it's going to allow you to essentially turn all of your removal spells into 2-for-1s. You get to cast a removal spell by targeting your opponent's creature, pick up your Intimidation Campaign, cast it again, draw another card. So now every removal spell you have, like a Desert Stew, is going to kill their best creature and draw another card. Desert Stew, maybe not so much because it doesn't kill the really big creatures, but you get the gist. You're drawing a card every time you're casting removal. Pick 4, this is a really good sign. It's quite early in the draft, and this is a super bomb-heavy format, so I guess we shouldn't really take this as a massive sign that Rakdos is open, but my favorite cards in this pack are Vault Plunderer, good card draw, and an Outlaw. The Desert Stew, good efficient removal, and of course Hellspur Posse Boss, just a big bomb rare for Outlaws decks. So there's a lot of good just Rakdos Outlaws cards still in that pack. Good sign towards the Laughing Jasper. And that'll be an easy Hellspur Posse Boss. Now we're getting pretty married to red with 2 excellent red rares. Pick 5 is much different. We have the Eroded Canyon towards Grixis. So we play Laughing Jasper, the Posse Boss, and the Intimidation Campaign in the same deck with some blue-red fixing. We can also take the Ambush Gigapede. This plays pretty well. It commits a crime when it hits the board. It can eat one of your opponent's good attackers pretty easily. Sometimes it even eats 2 of their creatures. It's a good, really high mana value card, but of course it's not an outlaw or any kind of synergy like that. But I'm not a particularly big fan of any of the other red creatures. Mind Raider would probably be okay here. I'm going to take Eroded Canyon. I think with the collection of many multicolored spells that we have right now, we should be taking these desert dual lands, if they're on color to some of the stuff that we've drafted, pretty highly. So I'm grabbing Eroded Canyon on that one. Pick 6, we have the 3 mana 3/3 Outlaw that also spits out a 3/1 dinosaur whenever we attack with a creature with power 4 or greater. Pretty good card. Curves well with Laughing Jasper. I mean, Laughing Jasper can kind of win the game by himself, but if we play Jasper turn 3, then we play this turn 4, we're attacking with a 4 power creature the turn we play this, getting that dinosaur. It's pretty good. Or sorry, we got to curve the opposite way. We have to play the Summoner first, then the Laughing Jasper, but still pretty powerful, so I'll go for that. Pick 7. Wow, is red open? Oh, Consuming Ashes too? Yeah, Rakdos? Pick 7, I think, is late enough for it to start looking like red is open. Or just Rakdos in general, because we see a great black removal spell and a great red removal spell. 3 mana, 4 damage to a creature. This is a little tougher in 3 color decks because it's double red, as is Consuming Ashes because it's double black. It's a little tougher in 3 color decks. But these are both great removal spells towards just a pure Rakdos Outlaws decks, which is still a strategy we can be on, just no splashes here. There's also Prickly Pear, which is just a great creature. I like them all. I'm going to go Collective Defiance here since we are leaning a little heavier red. I think the black removal spell is a little bit better in a vacuum, but again, we're much deeper into red, so having the opportunity to just splash the black here maybe and not be so married to it is reasonable to think about. There's a pick 8 Loot. That's still really hard for us to cast, even dancing around all these colors. Now we're late enough, most of the cards should be pretty mediocre. Take a Gold Pan. We do get a Prickly Pear. Very, very nice. We're super deep in red, definitely playing the colors, so we grab that. There was a decent little mana fixing creature, the 3 mana 2/2 that can tap for mana of any color. And there's a decent mana, well, there's a mediocre mana fixing creature in this pack. Having to top deck the land in your next turn, basically skip your draw step to pick up the land that you need, is pretty rough. It makes it a lot weaker than just the mana dork kind of cards, but this pack's quite empty generally. There's like a trick shot maybe. So I'll still take the Silver Deputy there, but I would really rather end up not having to play that. Metamorphic Blast can be a blowout if you're pretty lucky. Stack these abilities well at the right time. Okay, we're definitely red. We would like to be Rakdos. Black seemed decently open. And I guess we're Grixis, right? Geralf the Fleshright, that's got to be worth it. 3 mana for a 2/3. But when you cast a spell during your turn other than your first spell, you get a 2/2 zombie. Whenever a zombie you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each other zombie that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. So he's like a Stormwind condition. You want to cast like a ton of spells in one turn. The mechanic that plays around with this in this format is the plot mechanic, where you essentially pay this card's mana cost up front earlier, you plot it for that mana cost, and then you cast it for free later. Oh no, there's Tumblewag too, which is insanely powerful. Yeah, we have to choose between Grixis and Jund here, I think. We gotta go for one of these rares. But anyways, the plot mechanic is how you're supposed to use Geralf. I feel like that's so much less consistent and actually requires some work to get going, whereas Tumblewag, like you just slap this in any collection of creatures and it's insane. You get a +1/+1 counter every single turn no matter what. If you saddle it up, you can double the +1/+1 counters on a creature whenever it attacks, which is insane. This card is stupid good. Without any deck building restrictions, whereas again, Geralf requires some deck building restrictions. Mirage Mesa seems like a pretty high pick here for a pretty splashy deck, but there's also green mana fixers, the Bandit and the Stable Master. The issue with these green mana fixers is we would need to play green as a core color and able to use be able to use that mana to help fix us. Oh, and this only splashes for mounts and vehicles, actually, so it'd have to be Hard Bristle Bandit or Mirage Mesa here. Or Shoot the Sheriff, super efficient removal. Dang, I do like that a lot. I'm on Collective Defiance, and that's it for removal. I'm going to take Shoot the Sheriff. The mana is not looking beautiful here, and I just spent the pick not taking mana, which is probably not where we want to be, but hey. Pick 3, Thoughtseize. I mean, Thoughtseize is Thoughtseize. That's certainly a crime. It's certainly really annoying. We can't play Seraphic Steed, sadly. Wow, yeah, going back to this format, you kind of forget how powerful it is. There's just a bomb rare in almost every pack that we're seeing. This card's absurd in green-white. We're just not in that direction. Lackey actually seems really nice for our deck. It hits the outlaw card types while also being able to give us a treasure token later in the game to cast one of our like little splashes here. Yeah, maybe our mana base will be fine. If we just play Rakdos at the core, I really only need like a couple random green sources, a couple treasure tokens here or there. It's a single green card and another single green card. When I say single green, I mean like it only requires one green mana. It doesn't require double green or anything like that. Take a Vial Smasher here, although Explosive Derailment's also pretty good. Desert Stew's also pretty good. This is the kind of pack I really want to see. I like all these, but I mean, Vial Smasher's just like exactly what the doctor ordered for Rakdos Outlaws, and it plays incredibly well with cards that spit out multiple Outlaws off one card, and we have multiples of those. We have Prickly Pear at 3 mana, and we have Hellspur Posse Boss at 4 mana, so you can get a lot of pings off of this thing. Now we can take some removal here with the Desert Stew. That seems pretty fine. Trying to sort my creature curve here, see where we're at. Definitely need some 2-drop creatures ideally, but that looks like the only part we're really hurting for. We'll treat the green creatures as super late game plays. This is a really solid start. A little more removal, a little more cheap creatures, and we've just got a deck. Ideally a little bit of green fixing as well. If we can't get there, we can just play pure Rakdos, but I would really like to get there. Okay. Take the cheap removal here over the decent little plot outlaw there. Nezumi Link Breaker's pretty mediocre, but I do need some more random cheap creatures. Pick 6 Miriam, dang. Whoever's playing green-white mounts and saddles is going to have a very, very fun time. They got a Seraphic Steed somewhat late. Now they're going to get a Miriam. Pick 7. Play Conduit Pylons. I'm not super pumped about it, but I just don't think Rakish Crew is particularly good, even in a dedicated Outlaws deck. I've never been very impressed by it. Take the Pylons here. Dance of the Tumbleweeds is a really good fixer if green is one of your main colors. So if we were green, red, splash black, we could do this, which we could try to be. We only have a couple cheap black spells. Most of them are like late game removal. So we could take Dance of the Tumbleweeds speculatively towards making green a more core color. But I'm happy with the way things are going right now. Fake Your Own Death's another way to get a random treasure token, which is kind of interesting to me, but I do enjoy me a Gigapede. A little slow for this deck. Take Fake Your Own Death. Ooh, pick 9 Murder. Sure. I'll murder some stuff. Pick 10 Pulverizer. Pick 11 Boneyard Desecrator. We could take another Gold Pan. Just again, random treasure fixing. I'll take that. 1 treasure token is enough to cast one of our splash cards and not even need to have a forest on board. So I think Gold Pan actually looks pretty decent getting these in here. Okay. Now that we've filled out the non-creatures a little better, Shoot the Sheriff, Desert Stew, Murder, Collective Defiance, we really just need those cheap aggressive outlaws over anything else. Okay, well, we take Bristling Backwoods here. There is no cheap outlaw in this pack to take, which is the only thing we're really missing. So we can just upgrade our mana fixing with Bristling Backwoods to make it easier to splash the green spells. That makes a lot of sense to me. We could take Mourner's Surprise. This is technically a cheap outlaw because we can technically just spend 2 mana and get a 1/1 mercenary, but you never want to just play this as a 2 mana 1/1. That's obviously a terrible deal. You have to wait till later in the game once your creatures are dead, and then ideally you cast this, pick up your Laughing Jasper, and recast in the same turn, which is decent. But it's not another cheap play, which is what we're really, really missing, so I would rather just guarantee we get the good mana fixing locked in. Okay. Pack 3, pick 2. Here is a cheap play. Servant of the Stinger is quite solid in a deck with some great bombs. It's a 2 mana 1/3 Death Touch. It's an outlaw. And if you commit a crime and then you hit your opponent with this, you can sacrifice it to tutor, search your library for your best card, put it into your hand, which is really nice. So basically 2 mana, search your library for a card, put it in your hand. That's Demonic Tutor, which is actually not the greatest in a regular draft format normally. But because you just get to keep a 1/3 Death Touch if that's going to be better, and because it's sort of like plotting a Demonic Tutor, that's what makes it so good, right? Like if you attack with this, on like turn 4, if you just like play a desert to ping your opponent for 1, that's like committing a crime for 0 mana. Then this hits them. You have all your mana untapped to immediately cast whatever you search for. So we can like grab a Laughing Jasper off of it and cast in the same turn really easily. Pick 3, Forsaken Miner's fine if we want to get insanely aggressive, but Vault Plunderer is a great value play that's also an outlaw. So I'm going to go for the Vault Plunderer here. Digging through the deck seems really powerful in a deck with multiple bombers like Jasper, Posse Boss, Tumblewag, that kind of stuff. So we'll do some digging there. Pick 4, another Desert Stew for that great cheap removal. I'll take that over the Duelist. We do want more cheap filler creatures, but I'm not taking it over solid removal like Desert Stew. There's Terminal Agony to destroy anything. That is quite solid. 4 mana is kind of a lot, but it's definitely better than a third copy of Desert Stew. We're really low on deserts for that card. We only have 2 here. So this is going to be -2/-2 the majority of the time. There's also Mirage Mesa for more good fixing. That would also be good. Yeah, I mean, I could run Murder, Defiance, Shoot the Sheriff, couple Desert Stew, just don't even run a Terminal Agony. Yeah, we'll take Mirage Mesa. Lock in the green spells is our top end, like our 5 drops. Pick 6 now. This pack has nothing. And there's Rooftop Assassin, Thunder Salvo, Dust Bowl, all mediocre in draft. Return the Favor is really narrow. Sometimes you get an absolute blowout with it at the right time, but a lot of times it's stuck in your hand doing nothing. I'll just take the Assassin. Technically an outlaw, so we could cut a Charger for it, and it would not be horrific. There's another Mirage Mesa. I'm actually perfectly happy to take that here. This pack's pretty weak. Heartless Pillage is the close to being interesting in this deck. It's committing a crime and getting a treasure token, which is kind of cool. I mean, there's Bandit's Hall as well if we just want more of that kind of fixing, but we only have 2 green spells. We have a couple random treasure producers and now 4 ways to get green mana. We can just do this, play 0 Forest, and we've got the splash ready. Pick 8. Ooh. Double red's a little difficult, but double red for 5 damage, 2 mana for 5 damage is really efficient removal. I'm taking a Scorching Shot. Now we can wheel all these Mourner Surprise to pick up Laughing Jaspers and recast them. Treat these as like 4 or 5 mana creatures. And we'll see if we wheel the other one. We got 1 copy. Do we get another? I think the other copy would be pick 11 if we got both of them to come back for us. Nope, just 1 copy, but just 1 copy should still be fine. We didn't get a really aggressive curve. Outlaw's Fury is not going to be great in here. I'll still take it over Pyromancers. They do almost nothing, but I'm going to plan on not putting that in the deck. Another Outlaw's Fury. All right. Rakdos Outlaws with a green balmy splash. Seems fine by me. Not as aggressive as you generally want the Outlaw decks to be, but to make up for that, it has some bomb power off of that splash. And just in the main deck with Jasper and Posse Boss. Deck looks really, really solid. With all these natural green sources, I do not see a need to run a forest. I can grab any of my deserts off of Silver Deputy. And I probably don't need the double gold pan. I can just play like one of these. That puts our creature count at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, plus a Mourner Surprise being kind of like a 15th. It's pretty much perfect, pretty much where you want to be. Yeah, this looks like a solid deck. The most awkward part is definitely the mana base. We got a lot of decent like dual lands or 3-color land kind of choices with Mirage Mesa and Pylons, but the awkward part is that we're a 2-color deck with a splash, and we have like double red removal, double black removal, double red removal. Could be easy to get these clumped in our hand without the second source of their respective colors, so that'll be a little awkward for us, and like the Posse Boss as well. But overall, this seems like a really strong deck, and I'm perfectly happy to jam it out here. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and hop into the gameplay, get back into Outlaws of Thunder Junction, and see how this deck does. Well, here we are for game 1, and our great mana base has looked like absolute garbage. Triple Mountain in the opener. 3 non-red spells. Still have Prickly Pear no matter what, which does a lot towards clumping up the board. But like I've got a black-green spell, I need both of my off-color cards to get there. If I just hit a single black source, I can fake your own death or prickly pear, which is great. If I hit a single green, I have a tumblewag. I'll take the gamble on this one. When in Rome. We are in bombs.exe, the format. So I will keep the bomb hand and hope for the best. Full Naya mana from our opponent, Mountain and Creosote Heath. Ooh, now literally any land in the deck gets us to Hellspur Posse Boss, regardless of colors. Be pretty brutal to miss our land draw off of the first 3 draw steps, especially when it can be literally any land and be fine. But we missed our first land draw. 3 draws, 0 lands. Alright, pass turn. Again, any land is exceptional for us now, because it gets us to Posse Boss guaranteed. If it's a black source, it gets us to Posse Boss and 3 more spells. If it's a green source, it gets us to Posse Boss and Tumblewag, 2 excellent bombs. So like either direction it goes plays super well for me. I am just going for the trade here because I don't think I have time to try to set up the fake your own death. We don't know when we're going to hit the black source, and if we do, we have a bunch of desert stews to play instead. Still on these 0 lands drawn, but at least we drew a castable spell this turn. It's just a 3 mana 3/3. But this would be a really rough way to start the draft if we just don't get to play Magic here. Again, very much a risky hand to keep. Fully will admit that. There we go. There's the conduit pylons. He's got Ward 1. I can Desert Stew the Lackey here. Or play a Tumblewag with no support. It does turn itself into a 3/3 blocker. I guess I can just play Posse Boss. Posse Boss is definitely just better here. I think I need more mana over the 3/2. Alright. "11 life is not great, but I have 3 blockers on board now. Cactarantula, that is quite threatening. Haste it up. Block plus a fake your own death could be quite devastating on a future turn. They don't have a combat trick. I probably have to chomp that 7 damage. Thankfully it does not have trample. Okay, Rooftop Assassin's kind of spicy. It would let them draw a card off the Cactarantula, but it would let me kill it with just a 1/1 chumping it. Oh shoot, it has Ward as well off the boots. See, I have to go for Fake Your Own Death. I don't have the mana to try to kill it with Rooftop Assassin because of the Ward 1, and I'm just incapable of drawing lands this game. I'm very glad I milled that Vile Smasher because, oh boy. It would have been an insanely long time to hit a land at that point. Do not buff Cactarantula. Do not buff Cactarantula. Do not buff Cactarantula. Okay, thank you. Okay, no more combat tricks, please. No more combat tricks, please. I'm begging you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 toughness. Ah, they've got an instant. Well, it could be Lackey's ability. Arena would be holding for Lackey's ability, so we gotta hope it's just that. Oh, that's huge. That's huge. No trick. Okay, so Posse Boss kills Cactarantula, comes back, gives us more chumpers. We're down to 5 from everybody else, but this is a board we could stabilize on. They have a 2/2, a 2/3, and a 1/2, and only 1 +1/+0 equipment. So they can't buff like everybody. I could crack this treasure to Desert Stew right now. That gets me extra value out of this land. Make sure I'm being as mana efficient as possible off of this one untapped source we have here, and then I can spend all my mana next turn on like a Tumblewag. I kind of think I have to be going pure mana efficiency right now. Sorry, treasure token. It would be nice to sandbag that, but this way we're getting value off of the untapped mountain, and we tap out for Tumblewag. Okay, if I top deck a land, then it probably would have been better to not Desert Stew quite yet. Although now I could Rutstein this turn. Pick up a Prickly Pear that also keeps us quite stable. It does feel quite exciting to hold on to a Rutstein for once a Posse Boss potentially dies, though, so I'm going to get the Tumblewag down. And I'm going to spread our power and toughness out here. Fully on blocks. I don't want to stack everything all up onto one creature and have that one creature get killed. Yeah, so now our opponent just has to dig for their own bomb. Hopefully it's just like some kind of big creature we can chump and then assassin. Okay, Trailblazer's not that. Trailblazer's a massive card draw engine, but I can Deserts do that at least. Small enough toughness. Dang. They've got the 4-power creature immediately. So Trailblazer did 2 for 1 us, but I'll absolutely Deserts do it as quickly as possible. Because they draw a card off of every powerful or greater creature. Stay super ahead. Yes, they pass turn. This Courser can draw like 1 card, but we can easily kill that on blocks. So I am not worried about him. Spread the love around with Tumblewag. And Tumblewag's giving us inevitability here, and Rutstein really locks that in. Suit up the Courser and pass. If you control a creature power 4 or greater, I kind of like Rutsteining back a Scalestorm Summoner and Tumblewagging some counters onto it. Okay, yeah, this is getting a little bold at this point. This is less about the kind of like locked in inevitability and more like let's try to turn the corner and start beating down ASAP. So I could attack with a 6/6 Tumblewag next turn. They'd have to double block to kill it and I would get a Dino. And the mercenary tokens can make sure even if Tumblewag dies, Summoner still has a 4-power creature every turn. Okay, 5/4 trample, spooky. Spooky. Sure. They only kill one of these. Well, so much for the Summoner, I guess. Silver Deputy. Does have haste. If it has 3 counters on it, be an 8/8 on the attack. They have 7 toughness, or 7 power against 8 toughness. Off of a saddle attack with Tumblewag next turn. No! The last possible opportunity to kill Tumblewag with that Savage Smash, and that's when they hit it. Good timing for our opponent. Well, time to start gaining a million life. Rooftop Assassin with all these mercenaries is also a pretty quick win con. Oh, I could also just murder and hit with the whole board. That would speed up the kill, but also improve my chances of dying to some random nonsense off the top. I can already kill them in just 4 turns, so let's just do that. I'm gaining a million here as well. Make this really safe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 power. Double Trailblazer deck! Alright, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey, I cast a Posse Boss and a Tumblewag. We both played 2 rares. Saddle up the course, or they're gonna go for it. Let's kill it. Stop the card draw. I could just trade a Rutstein into it, but they'd draw the card if I let it declare an attack. Land. Okay, they're not dead on board. But I got enough life, I think, to definitely just attack with everybody, especially when this can just put that damage on the lifelink. Whee! Okay, I guess if they top deck like a 7 power creature, we die. That would have to be an 8 power creature. Alright, put me to 7, but we grind it out with the Posse Boss, even off that awkward mana draw. Huge MVP to Posse Boss there. Posse Boss plus the fake your own death to recur it and keep a large board of blockers was absolutely astronomical towards stabilizing that game. Incredibly, incredibly close one. But we grind our way through the mana issues, and we are 1-0 heading into Game 2. All right, here we are for Game 2 with pretty incredible mana this time. We do have to spend 2 mana to get 1 black mana, but other than that, the mana base is good. It's a slower hand as well. We'll have to Scorching Shot their first good aggressive creature, and then, you know, not cast any of our own until turn 4. But we have the Posse Boss plus Fake Your Own Death again. We also have Posse Boss plus Mourner's Surprise if we don't have the well-timed Fake Your Own Death to save it. Playing against Gruul, red-green stuff. There's a Ramblin' Possum. I do not have the mana to cast Vault Plunder this turn, because again, I have to spend 2 mana to get black out of that. I do have a 5-drop in hand, but overall, I think I can ditch this Mesa. That's probably greedy. I have like Mourner's Surprise and stuff that could be used as a super late game play. You know, 2 mana for this plus 4 mana for Posse Boss in the same turn would want 6 lands on board. We'll keep the Mesa. There's a Drover Grizzly, sure. Posse Boss will be a great blocker for that. We could just double block with 2 Mercenaries. Or with the boss itself towards a Mourner Surprise play. But I think it'll be block with 2 Mercenaries. So I can try to do the Fake Your Own Death play instead. Sure. Plot the 5/4 and pass turn. Here's a Mesa on black. And then I guess the other Mesa might go on green. I don't know, I have a million black spells in hand. We're probably just pure black mana right now. Do some Plundering, Collective Defiance, not bad. Plunder is also a really good creature to have engrave with Mourner's Surprise, so I'm not going to send the attack in here. Because if they attack with anything, just block with Plunder looks excellent. Alright, the beef has arrived. Welcome, beef. It's a Cactarantula, which will probably try to kill the exact same way we did last time. So we Collective Defiance just for 4 damage to Paladin, no other use here. And then hold up the 2 mana for Fake Your Own Death off of the Mirage Mesa backwoods. Yeah, that looks good to me. 4 to a creature. Done. 4 to the 5/4 trample. Get off this board. Mesa on... Go on black again. Yeah, I have my 1 green source. I kind of forgot what my mana base looks like. And it is just literally 2 single green mana cards. It's definitely going for black mana right now. Or we're definitely going for black mana right now. Alright, what I don't love about this is if they have instant speed removal, we get 2 for 1. But we still go for it. Somebody's getting 2 for 1 here. Okay, I lied. Nobody's getting 2 for 1. We traded a Fake Your Own Death for a Snakeskin Veil. Oh wait, no, that's a lie. Yeah, we did 2 for 1 off that play. They discarded a Snakeskin Veil. We discarded a Fake Your Own Death, but we also drew a card when we did it. They didn't draw any extra cards for doing that. They just got an extra +1/+1 counter on the board. So yeah, we did win that exchange still. So that's nice. Sequencing errors, yay! If we cast Pulverizer first, we would have done 2 damage. So that was dumb of me. Got the Mourner's Surprise here. I need 6 power to block Cactarantula. I'm probably blocking with my 4-5 and my 2-4. Send these buddies in. They probably trade a Vile Smasher. That's fine. Lower their board a little. Sick. Another Cactarantula? Okay, at least I have my own beef now, so not that scary. Nothing to really Mourner's Surprise right now that's particularly good. I don't mind a chump sack with Lackey. Oh, I forgot we scry off a Pulverizer. Very rarely have I actually put that card in my deck. Decline. I do not want to shuffle after I just already scryed a land away. Now I have 3 buffs. I can make Plunderer 6 power and send that. Yeah, I have a chump with Lackey, and then I still have the double block up. So Lackey goes Trump, Sack, draw a card. Posse Boss and Pulverizer go double block on the other Cactus. This feels like a Lorwyn board state with a bunch of creatures that can tap and do things. They're all sorcery speed, though. If you've ever seen Lorwyn Draft, that is one of the most heinous formats in terms of on-board complexity. There's so many like activated abilities and tap abilities and stuff on the board at all times. Alright, they just hold all the Cactuses up, so we'll just keep doing our thing. Eventually they'll have to block. Or cast removal on our 3-1, that's not bad either. Bandit's Hall needs 2 counters to draw the card. Not even that valuable. This game's going fast enough. I'm going to do the ping 2 and scry 1 here instead of saving Mourner's Surprise for Hellspur Posse Boss. This seems pretty valuable already. Ping 2, scry into a Desert's Dew. We have 4 Deserts on board? Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, they draw a card when we kill a Cactus with this, but it's still really nice. They do have Snakeskin Veil mana up already. I'm just going to hold up the Lackey Chump thing. Stagecoach Security. Okay, we know they don't have a Snakeskin Veil now, unless they top deck it off of Cactarantula's ability. This is -6/-6, so kill the 7/6. In response to that. So it doesn't get the Vigilant Swing, unless they top deck Snakeskin Veil. They did not. There's the concession. All right, 2-0 now, off the back of Hellspur Posse Boss both games. But we have a lot of rares in here, so it's going to be expected that most of our games will have some kind of rare winning us the game. I really want to see Laughing Jasper show up, because he's our strongest rare by far. All right. We are now on the play for game number 3. And we've got pretty good mana. We have to make a rough decision here if we don't top deck a land of some kind, which is another red source for Scorching Shot or a green source for Rutstein. We're probably going to pick a green source for Rutstein because we're much more likely to naturally draw another red source later because we have like 8 or something versus just the 4 green sources. But it is rough. We can't guarantee all these cards are castable. Well, top deck the red source and now we can. Now I can just Deputy for green and we'll be good. But we're clearly starting with the Vile Smasher, getting the extra damage in, getting the 3/2 body down, or pulling removal out. Sadly, looks like we're pulling removal out. So Deputy, grab the green source. Probably the Conduit Pylon so I can immediately cast Rutstein next turn. if our opponent doesn't play anything we want to kill. Yeah, get the untapped source and play the Link Breaker. All right, no creatures, so it'll be Rutstein pick up Vial Smasher this turn. Mill that. Poke 2. Wee. Ooh, 2-mana Scalestorm Summoner, that's pretty cool. I don't remember any board wipes in this format, but if there is one, we're about to lose real hard. Well, not if there is one, but if there is one in the format and they have it in their hand, then we're about to lose really hard. But if there isn't a good board wipe in the format, they're about to lose really hard. I mean, this board state is astronomically leaning in our favor, and we have double removal for once they do resolve creatures. Are they dead on board yet? Probably not, but maybe. I could actually Desert Stew here instead of Scorching Shot. If I Silver Deputy, okay, they concede anyway. They might have done the math before me. Math is for blockers. Yeah, we're 1 damage off, technically. They're technically still alive. We do 11 damage this turn, and they're at 12. But because we have Scalestorm Summoner, we get to use Silver Deputy to make sure one of our creatures has 4 power. So when this attacks, we also get a 3/1, so we're even expanding the board at this rate. So hit for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They go to 1, facing 6 creatures on our board now. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. They just had a really slow hand, so nice quick 3-0 now for us. All right, game number 4. We're on the draw here. We have Lackey, a Desert Stew. We can sack the Lackey to get the treasure to play Rutstein later, but a Rutstein just picking up a Lackey won't be that exciting. So we want to draw some other creature, and there you go. Laughing Jasper is a heck of another creature to draw, especially in a hand with multiple graveyard recursion spells. So they can blow this up. If they don't exile it, we get to Mourner Surprise it and Rutstein it over the course of this game, which should be really, really frustrating for our opponent. There's the Ramblin' Possum. I have no deserts on board, so I can't deserts do that. I mean, I could Deserts do it if they block. That seems fine. This doesn't trigger till my upkeep anyway, so I can just play it main phase 2 if they don't block. Cool. Just play it main phase 2. The reason I was cool to just like Deserts do if they block there is that a lot of the green removal requires you to have a creature on board, so if we can get in a position where I can kill the Possum before putting Laughing Jasper on board, it would be a little more likely to remain on board when our opponent has a couple green sources over there. Yeah, I mean, exactly. There's the throw from the saddle as expected. But again, I have a million ways to bring Laughing Jasper back, so we'll be fine. We just really would have preferred to have the removal to kill the Possum, but I didn't. Desert Stew's not big enough. Of course. Mirage Mesa, 1 turn too late. We could not. -3/-3. Now I can -3/-3, but Possum's permanently a 4/4 because throw from the saddle is busted with mounts. Mason green past the turn. Could Mourner Surprise, and they know I'm just going to play a Laughing Jasper. I'd rather play Rutstein and Jasper in the same turn, double spelling next turn, and just have a surprise up here. Or I can go Lackey, Chump plus Treasure. Or I guess if they hit Lackey with targeted removal, I can respond by drawing a card off of it and getting the treasure. That works too. Okay. This is a slight gamble here. But the only thing they can have to save Possum is specifically a +X/+X kind of combat trick. Because Lackey's already dealt the damage. So if they have instant speed removal for Lackey, too bad. It's already dealt the 3. The Possum's already 3 toughness for the rest of this turn. They have to have specifically like a +1/+1 or +2/+2 kind of thing to save Possum. I could go for the safer line where it doesn't matter as much what they have in hand. I just Deserts do the Sentry and don't block with Lackey. But this line is way better for me. if they don't have the combat trick, because Possum's a much scarier creature. It's bigger than the Sentry up front. If they don't have another creature with Sentry, the Sentry can't attack. And it has extra abilities on it too. Okay, they've just got a full-on counter spell, which means I couldn't have done anything this turn. Fair enough, but now they can't counter the Jasper recursion this turn. So red, black, green for Rutstein. I have to play Swamp and then 2-mana Lackey here. I'm sorry, 2-mana Jasper, not Lackey. Thanks to the cost reduction. Hoping that we're running them out of recursion here. So if we can ever have Jasper stick around for a turn, it can absolutely stabilize and turn this game around. The issue is getting it to survive a turn cycle. At 12 life here, if they just go to attacks, I will happily trade Rutstein into the 3/3. I can't really afford to go to 5 life. Even if I get to keep a Jasper on board, 5 life is not much to stabilize on. Take the fall, that's pretty gross. Get the kill on Rutstein and still keep the Sentry. Oasis Gardener, that's not removal yet. Last card in hand is the Desert Stew removal too. Alright, what are you going to do? They had all the interaction. So that's probably about it for us. Got a 1/1 in a Jasper, 1/1 chumps Possum, Jasper blocks Gardener, we take 3, go to 5. Or I play the Death Toucher to try to clear out Possum, then they attack with just these 2. They actually only attack with Sentry if they have no other cards in hand if I play Servant here. I feel like I just have to get Jasper triggers, though, as quickly as possible. I guess I can see if I randomly mill a better creature than Jasper, but that's unlikely. Okay, Scorching Shot's an incredible draw. Oh, I should have picked up... Oh, I'm dumb. Oh, I'm dumb. I just realized as soon as I did that, I could have picked up Rutstein for this turn, and then had Jasper lying in wait for next turn, and had more blockers over time overall. That definitely would have been better. Definitely. Like, we don't get a Jasper trigger immediately anymore, but it's so much safer in the long run, guaranteeing more blocks over time. Oh, that was bad. Yeah, I might just be so used to the Scab from Pioneer Masters lately that like auto exiles itself when it dies that I just kind of forgot you can pick up the graveyard recursive spells in the set. They do not exile themselves when they die. Jesus H. Christ. Okay, we might just be dead here no matter what. Why did that take so long to make that play? If they just had the removal immediately. Just wanted me to really think that I had a chance, I guess. And with how much time they let us think there, I was like, okay, we're keeping a Jasper here. But then they're like, oh, no, mid-combat, actually, I had the removal the whole time. That's such a bummer. Yeah, I think I punted this one not picking up Rutstein. Although, because they had that removal spell, they just attack with everything except the 4/4 last turn. No, they attack with everything, including the 4/4 that last turn. Why didn't... Oh, that can't attack now that the 4-power creature's gone. That's nice. But I'm dead on board, because I flood. Frustrating. Frustrating. Yeah, I guess since Sentry can't attack anymore, we probably did punt it away with the Rutstein thing. Because I was going to say, I mean, they'll have that exile removal spell for Laughing Jasper no matter what. But I would have had enough blocks to where we would have blocked and killed Sentry with Rutstein, taking considerably less damage here. We'd be at like 5 or something to at least have one more draw step to maybe get through the flood. It was a pretty frustrating game though. All right, here we are for game 5. We had pretty excellent luck throughout this draft so far. This will be a treasure token if I top deck any green spells, so I think I'm gonna lock in the double red. I have 2 double red cards in the deck and just 1 double black as far as I remember. Ooh, that's a good draw. Vile Smash and a Prickly Pear should be great. And there's a Sterling Key Keeper. Prickly Pear, shoot, shoot. No more Outlaws in hand. I don't mind Vile Smasher trading just to keep this board clear. Get the Prickly Pear damage in. Especially with a couple Graveyard Recursion spells in this deck. If I had more Outlaws in hand, like especially if I had the Posse Boss in hand, I probably wouldn't go for that trade. Okay, I do have a Desert for this to be -3/-3. I'll save Shoot the Sheriff. It probably kills slightly more creatures on average. It doesn't kill Outlaws, but it kills anything else. I could Gold Pan and Equip, but then I don't have the treasure token if I draw into a green source, so I'm just going to hit for 1 less point of damage here. I think that's fine. Prairie Dog, that definitely needs to die. We do not want them lifelinking at all. Hello, Tumblewag. I guess Prairie Dog can stick around for a second here. Oh no, I have the mana to do both. Okay. Desert Stew plus Prairie Dog. I just don't equip this turn. Or Desert Stew plus Tumblewag. Tumblewag is not Prairie Dog. Whee! 1 Tumblewag has arrived. Now this is going to be a Lightning Rod for removal, so if they give me the first trigger, I'm going to put it on anything other than Tumblewag. If it sticks around long enough to get an attack, it could be worth putting the counter on itself to make it easier to like saddle in and send in. But there's the Journey to Nowhere for the Tumblewag, so pretty happy about the first +1/+1 counter choice. No more blockers over there, so juice up. Juice up a critter. Shoot the Sheriff if they try to cast a Holy Cow here. No Holy Cow. Here's Deputy and Path. I do not want to draw any lands right now. Decline. Conduit Pylons wouldn't be the worst in the universe, because it's our second black if we hit a murder and we get to surveil our next card, but feels unnecessary. Okay, Laughing Jasper's great. Okay, that's an Outlaw, so I can't do anything there. Let's just force a chump or force a removal spell and then post-combat Jasper. Okay, force chump. They had to discard a Take Up the Shield there, and we still keep the Prickly Pear. There's Jasper and pass. A Jasper trigger for 4, yeah, should be completely game-ending. So that is the concession, and we are now 4-1, guaranteed to have a positive record for our return to Outlaws of Thunder Junction, whatever happens from here. But we'll keep going as far as we can as we head into round number 6. All right, here we are on the play for game 6. We'll start with Conduit Pylons, do some digging. Honestly, Rooftop Assassin's not horrible in this hand. The Link Breaker is pretty inconsequential. Without a card like that to be able to have it trade up into anything, so I don't mind the Rooftop Assassin draw. This hand is like super defensive, super removal oriented. It's just Desert Stew, Shoot the Sheriff, and Rooftop Assassin. So kind of an awkward start here, but Prickly Pear is an excellent draw to speed it up. So we will go for that, and that'll hold the Hustler off of us. So not worried about immediately casting a Desert Stew. But I will probably kill the Blood Hustler with Desert Stew soon enough. I can't shoot it. It is an outlaw. And even if I could, I'd probably rather Desert Stew it anyway, considering our opponent's on green, and they have potentially massive creatures like the Spinewoods Armadillo they're discarding here to get a land. So we could shoot the Sheriff a gigantic 7/7 later. I'd like to be able to do that. I don't mind Collective Defiance. Although it is a little more damage than Desert Stew. Well, no, Desert Stew is instant speed -4/-4 because I have Mirage Mesa. So one slightly sad part here is that I'm not kicking the Collective Defiance at all, or I guess escalating it, which is, it's literally just kicker. I'm not doing an extra 3 or like cycling through a hand. But it is almost definitely better to keep the 2-mana instant speed removal in hand than the 3-mana sorcery speed removal when they both kill just as big creatures. So we'll Defiance and jam. Okay, technically I should have used the Mercenary on Linkbreaker and attacked with 2/2 creatures, because if they took a trade there, that would be in our favor, but that was so unlikely anyway, I just did it the lazy way. Okay, Fake Your Own Death makes Prickly Pear an excellent attacker here, and Linkbreaker I honestly don't mind either, because it just already has a death trigger. Alright, get some excellent Fake Your Own Death value with the Prickly Pear. Is the treasure untapped? Nice, the treasure's untapped, so I'm even holding up a Desert Stew or a Shoot the Sheriff here. Alright, Vault Plunderer is a solid 2-for-1. Pretty bad against all of our 1-power creatures, but if they have a 2-toughness creature on their board, it's not like I'm attacking with the 1-power creatures anyway. Yeah, I guess I've got Desert Stew, Shoot the Sheriff. I have so much removal here that I don't mind throwing something at Treasure Dredger. So I guess I send in everybody and use Rooftop Assassin to kill Dredger. And then just have a million leftover removal spells for other stuff. Cool. Grab the treasure while they still can. And then we kill the Treasure Dredger. Dance of the Tumbleweed. This is going to be a giant XX. Be a 6/6 elemental. This giant elemental pig thing. That's actually the sheriff of these parts. You might not recognize it, but it is. So I'm going to shoot that sheriff real quick. We also top-decked Laughing Jasper, so of course I'm going to cast that. They are down to 8. We untap with Laughing Jasper. That's a horrible time for them, so if they have any removal in hand, they're going to have to use some mana on that. Mystical Tether it is. Goodbye, Laughing Jasper. That leaves them with 4 mana to actually play blockers, which they do have. The Outlaw Stitcher, which gives them 2 blockers off of 1 spell, which is pretty bad for me. Yeah, I'm not spending removal here. Even if I do, the ground creatures aren't really getting in, so I'm going to hold this off to make sure that we keep the skies clear and get the 3-turn kill with Rooftop Assassin. There's a Vault Plunderer. They go to 4 to find a way to deal with the Rooftop Assassin. And immediately hit it. That sucks. All right. Send in a 4/4. You got it. I'm still not worried about throwing this removal out. I'm at 20 life here off the life link. Mourner's Surprise. Let's go. Sadly, Jasper's exiled, which makes this really awkward, because I'm pretty sure I have to just Mourner Surprise the flyer, and the issue with that is I don't have the mana to do that and cast it in the same turn. If I want to cast something immediately, it has to be Prickly Pear, which, I mean, there's just enough on ground. It's better to pick up the flyer, so... yeah, this is awkward. Just reveal that I'm picking up another flyer. They know they need to find removal again. I do have 2 mercenaries, so it'll be a 1-turn kill with the flyer at least. If we get it to stick around, it only has to stay for 1 swing. Zero blocks. I'm keeping my mercenaries. Well, I could block with Link Breaker, actually, and then I have 3 of the mercenary tokens. So even if they, like, removal one of them, I'm fine. I wonder what my play is going to be. Definitely don't have a revealed instant speed flyer in my hand or anything. Take that, go to 12. Saving Desert Stew for if they play a reach creature or a flyer here. And I've got 2 mana up if they have the counter unless I pay 2. If they top decked another instant speed removal spell, I am going to cry. Deserts do the flyer, and I'm back in top deck mode. Okay, well at this point they don't have any other attacks if I just clear out the 4/4. And then we're both in top deck mode. They have Snakeskin Veil too? Decisive Denial. Alright, well we got that out of the way. It's another fight spell. Top deck a land. Really don't have to murder this 4/4. Gonna buy some time, turning Link Breaker into another mercenary. I will murder it next turn if they don't play any better creatures. There's way too many bomby creatures in this format for me to feel justified murdering a 4/4. But at this point I have no other way to kill it. Oh, Lord have mercy. Alright. We got into a top deck war and we severely lost. We just drew way worse. I mean, the double removal in a row off the top deck against the flyer was brutal. I'm surprised they went for Blood Hustler instead of the giant armadillo, but I guess they want to gain a little bit of life here, so they're less likely to die to some random top deck flyer. Yeah, now I have to just murder Blood Hustler. I think that's enough. I think they drew too many blockers here for Tumblewag to even get there at this rate. This is rough. Down to 3. Oh, man. And if I attack with Tumblewag, they just trump with Stitcher and then attack both, kill me on the crackback. I can't even attack here. I have to trade Tumblewag into the 4/4 on blocks. Oh, this is miserable. You got it. Game number 7. All right, here we are for game number 7. We've got a really excellent opening hand. We did have some really solid luck early in this draft, but got a couple losses in pretty short sequence here, so getting a little sad, a little frustrated. Happy to see a really powerful hand here, but it doesn't have any plays till turn 4. I would top deck Vial Smasher when I get my red source out of the way. That's embarrassing. Or my green source out of the way for any of my green splashes. I just wanted to get the tap land on board immediately. Oh my god, this hand's insane. Alright. They're blue-black? Blue-black tends to have a million removal spells, so I'm in the market of playing all of my least scary threats first, because they're still going to draw removal from our opponent. If they have removal, they cast it, kill Smasher, and draw a card off Brigand, which is already... I mean, that's pretty terrifying. It's a good deal for them, so this is a great way to kind of guarantee we get a removal spell out of the way for Laughing Jasper to not die to that. Okay, Prickly Pear. I should just kill this Brigand before it draws any more cards. But then, again, the plan is going to be playing all of the less scary creatures and drawing out their million removal spells, because that tends to be the blue-black control archetype in this format, is just a million removal spells and a bunch of cards that draw a card when they commit a crime. So they can turn all their removal spells into 2-for-1s. Okay, cool. Oh, I've got the Rutstein too. Let's go. There's Posse Boss. I am going to make one mercenary... No. What? Why is this how Arena does that? I swear to God I clicked on the other mercenary. Well, I guess it worked out for me because they had the rare unbeatable flyer instead of the Holy Cow. I was going to play around Holy Cow there and attack with a 2-1 mercenary, but Arena was like, you want to target the first mercenary, even though I clicked on the second one. Okay, I mean, we just can't beat Stoic Sphinx. We literally cannot target it with any sorcery speed removal, so we just die super fast. I have to try to outrace them here then. That means Rutstein. Pick up Vial Smasher. But then Laughing Jasper is more damage and without removal. Crushes them. They've got to have removal here, though. They have 2 cards in hand and one's an instant for sure. They've got Intimidation Campaign too. Yeah, I'd probably Vial Smasher over Jasper. Play Jasper next turn. Okay. I really want to make one of these mercenaries a 2-1, but I think I should just play around Arena being weird and just put the power elsewhere. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. The only other like flash creature they could have is another Stoic Sphinx. I guess I just make a Posse Boss bigger. They could have like a Holy Cow, but I can't really change how good a Holy Cow's blocks is going to be here. It's already going to be great. I guess I just load up the Posse Boss. Either way, one of these is going to be a 4-power attacker. Stop cold, sure. You got it. Sends 6 damage. Oh, it stops the ability to give everybody else haste, too? Oh, my God. Can we please never print Hexproof again? I swear. Okay, I have a lot of removal that'll still kill it. I have Desert Stews, 2 copies of that at least. I've got to shoot the Sheriff. We have outs, but I need them immediately. That's shoot the Sheriff if they cast anything during their turn. Jasper. Hold the blockers on the ground. Shoot the Stoic Sphinx if they cast anything. Because they have to cast something to remove the hexproof. I'm just dead. I'm just dead because they hit me for 6. By the time they remove the hexproof, Intimidation Campaign shoots me for 1. Oh, God, why is this card so broken, dude? 4 and 3 it is. This was a frustrating draft today. Getting all the wins in one clump and then getting all the losses in one clump's the really brutal part. I think this deck played really bad in these last few games. I think it's significantly better than how the last few played out. We just ran against some absolute nonsense. We lost the top deck war really hard because we just drew like garbage, and then Stoic Sphinx is just literally... you can't even interact with it unless you have specifically an instant, which we had 4 in the deck, but we didn't draw them until it was too late. We had all of these removal spells would have killed the Stoic Sphinx, but we didn't hit it till we already were dead. It's 5 power as well for only 4 mana. 5 power, it takes 4 swings maximum to get the kill. Yeah, that's frustrating. That Stoic Sphinx was really, really annoying. And the worst part is, like, we didn't even get to be the super frustrating Mega Bomb player. We never got a single Laughing Jasper trigger. Laughing Jasper is our incredible bomb. It's pretty comparable in power level to Stoic Sphinx, because if you don't immediately have the removal for it, it's going to be casting your opponent's deck against them, or it's going to be casting your deck against you if you're the opponent in this scenario. So it's like really, really unbeatable if it gets a trigger or 2 off. But of course, every game we had our Jasper, they just always had the removal immediately, like genuinely instantly. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. That's Magic. I think this deck is very, very strong, so I'm bummed out to see it lose out there with 3 losses in a row really, really quick at the end here. But technically, 4 and 3 is still a pretty solid record, especially returning to a format that I don't have a lot of recent experience with. I haven't really drafted the set since almost a year ago, basically since it came out. So... still a reasonable record, but I thought this deck was really powerful and capable of so much more than this. It just did not line up that way for us. So 4 and 3, it is a very average run for our return to Outlaws of Thunder Junction. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.